New Regal Radio. I am DJ Adam, and you are in Lurch's Lair. And actually, the Lair, if you want to join us in the Lair, go over to the Lair Facebook page, and we're broadcasting live on, and see, I'm doing it. I'm doing the hand thing here.
See, you know what? You didn't keep yourself from doing it.
We are broadcasting live on the Lurch's Lair Facebook page, so come on over and join us. We got some folks over there right now. Thank you for joining us here in the Lair. So this song right before we came back here, that was The Word Alive with the song Life Cycles. Right before that, we had Palisades with their song Outcast, and this song, The Word Alive. You said it's got a special place for you.
Yes, Life Cycles. I actually have their lyrics tattooed on my body. The one lyric, it says, "I would rather die for what I believe than live a life without reason." So that. I basically have that tattooed right here. And it's actually kind of small, so some people are just like, what does it say? And it's kind of just for me, kind of just like a reminder, like, that I'm always going to be different. I'm always going to, basically be myself, and I'm never going to change. So, which is good.
Very good. You always be yourself. Now, the band Palisades, they are actually going to be with our guests next week. They're going to be doing some shows with them down in Baltimore. So go check out I almost said the Lurch's Lair Facebook page. Go over and check the Ignite the Fire page out for their dates. I think it's December 21st. I think they're doing a date with Palisades. So go check that out. Over in the chat room, Kevin, Lurch is awesome, great, awesome support for us indie artists. Thank you very much, Kevin. We do what we can here in the Lair to help out all artists here, not just musical, but artistic as well. So thank you for that. We do try our best. It is, it is literally why I started the show.
Yeah.
I know people ask why. I had the question last week, was why Lurch's Lair? Where does it come from? Well, and oddly, it comes from where we used to work together. A coworker of mine named me. It was the nickname he gave me, Lurch.
You know what? That's when you started this whole thing. I just realized, I was like, you know what? I do seem to remember somebody calling you that.
But I couldn't use it on the radio. There's actually already a DJ Lurch. So I could not use it on the radio. Of course, Adam fits right in it, but and it has a double meaning. The man that I call my dad is actually my stepfather. Mm-hmm. His last name was Adams. Mm-hmm. But we always called him Adam.
Yeah.
So it has a double meaning for me. Mm-hmm. And I proudly use that name to honor him. So, yes, Lurch's Lair. The Lair part came from a friend that worked. He started his show here on New Regal Radio 4 years ago. And I never listened to independent music before.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people kind of, I've never heard those bands before. And I had a little bit of that. But he turned me on to this music, mm-hmm. this music in the independent scene. And you know what? A lot of this music is not just the same cookie cutter stuff you get to hear on like FM radio.
Ugh. I can't even listen to FM radio anymore.
You know what? I don't listen to FM radio anymore.
My phone died the other night on my way home from school, and I almost cried because I had to actually listen to the radio.
There are times that I forgot to, I forgot to put something in the truck for me to listen to, and I've had to listen to FM radio, or if I'm at a doctor's office and they have it on, and it's like, oh, I can give you so much better in music than this.
Yeah.
And, like I say, he got me into it, and then slowly, little by little, I can tell you there was never a time I ever thought I would be doing this.
I mean, what I'm doing now is with my makeup and my art, like, I never really actually thought that I was going to even remotely be doing what I'm doing now, like, with everything.
So, I actually went on his show. They actually got me to go on the show.
Yeah.
And what started it, I actually suggested one time he used to do live shows. Him and his co-host did live shows. And the one live show, they were like, give us some ideas for the last hour. There was a 3-hour show. They're like, give us some ideas for the last hour. We need some requests. So after that, I said to him, do you want me to come up with like a playlist, of songs for you for like your 3rd hour when you do these live shows? And he said, sure.
Yeah.
So I came up, and I was using Lurch then because I wasn't part of the show. I was just Lurch. So I showed up and I said, "Oh, here's my playlist, and here's the songs if the ones you don't have." He just looks at it and goes, "Okay, that'll be good for when we'll put you on the 3rd hour." I said, "You're
no.
what?"
I'm sorry, what?
He goes, No, you're gonna sit here in the 3rd hour, and you're going to do this.
And you're going to announce it, and you're going to talk.
And yes, and I did, and I was so nervous that first time. I did that 3 times for his show.
Oh, wow.
And then he said, went down for one of his shows, for one of their shows one night, and we were sitting there after the show talking. And I had by then started the Lurch's Lair Facebook page. I had kind of just originally started that to see what independent bands
Would actually.
Yeah, we put them out there, see what got got hits, and then they were going to use them. But he said to me, he goes, you're picking a lot of great music here. You're picking a lot of great bands. You're finding this music. He goes, you could do your own show. And I'm like, huh?
What?
But that's what got me thinking. And the next day, I got up in the morning because, of course, it was after midnight when I got home. So Mrs. Lurch over there was asleep, and I said, "Hey," I said, "Rich thinks maybe I could do my own show. I've been thinking, I'm thinking about it." And the looks I got from saying, "Hey," it doesn't matter. The looks when I said, "Hey, I think I'm going to do a radio show," and the people that know me were like, "What?" It was just like, you're what? But I such a blast doing this.
You know what? When I started doing makeup and doing special effects on people, I actually would ask them not to tag me in stuff because I was super self-conscious about the outcome of it and just the finished product. So I just would be like, don't worry about tagging me in it. I'm not worried about it, blah, blah, blah. But then when I started to actually post some of the stuff, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, people were just like, where did this come from? Why you all of a sudden know how to do this stuff? It's like, no, I'm super self-taught. Books, YouTube, lots of YouTube. And just figuring stuff out on my own. Just taking advice from different makeup artists. I have a few makeup artists. I'm actually friends with Nicole Chaleli. She won Face Off season 3 on the Sci-Fi Channel. She's made me a phone case. She's helped me a lot with questions that I have, and she actually does take the time to message you back when you have a question. I recreated one of her looks the one time, and she reposted it and all kinds of stuff. I actually have a really good friend. His name is Nate, and he lives in Oklahoma. And he's a huge special effects person out there. And hopefully next month I get to go and visit him. And he is a no-holds-barred type of person. If he feels like I didn't do a good enough job, or if he feels like I should have did something different, he is not afraid to hurt my feelings. And I need that, with that. And I love him to death. He helps me so much. If I have something going and I'm just I can't get this right, I can't get the consistency of this mixture right, or anything like that, he's right there, giving me suggestions. So it's actually really good to have that kind of support with everything.
That's good to have. My Rich and Jamie, they're that for me. They do that for me as well. So that's it's always good to have that kind of support to help you out. So what do we have up here next? We've got some Red here. The song is called Breathe Into Me. You're in Lurch's Lair. You're on New Rigel Radio. New Rigel Radio. I'm DJ Adam, and you are in Lurch's Lair. That right there was the band Secrets with their song Genesis. Right before that, we had the Carousel Kings with their song Bad Habit. So, and that's the list you provided us, and those are some really good songs there. Thank you very much for coming up with that for us.
Thank you.
So, you said we were talking over here on Facebook Live. You actually know the lead singer for the Carousel Kings.
I do, David. He goes by David Alexander. I met him like 10 years ago when he was starting out. Like, I think he was like 17 years old, and he used to hang out at a party house when I used to stunt ride motorcycles. And I met him, and we became good friends, and I actually did his hair right before he came home from Japan, because he was touring in Japan. He came home to Lancaster City and needed me to do his hair before Warped Tour. And I was super stoked that he asked me to do that, because obviously I'm still in school, so he's trusting me with this. And now we're in the talks of working further on some new stuff for he works at a spa in Westchester, and I may end up doing a commercial for the spa.
Awesome.
So I'm excited about that. And if you ever get the chance to do a salt float, which is what this spa actually specializes in, where they put 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt in about 10 inches of water. I did a 90-minute float, and it was amazing. It
would have to be a lot of salt to float this body. If I'm going into the water, it kind of looks like the Titanic's just.
Oh boy.
Hey, you know what? The sign on the shop says "Big and Tall." I am big and tall. I go ahead and I cover both angles right there.
Oh my.
That's right.
I do look somewhat like a hobbit next to Adam over here.
Well, you know what? If it makes you feel any better, so do a lot of people.
I'm only 5 foot, so it's like, basically, if he would ever give me a hug, he'd be hugging my head, or picking me up, like, hey.
Oddly enough, my grandmother was 4'11".
Good God.
So I have practice at hugging short people.
Just get down on a level.
That is exactly right. And by the way, public service announcement for all you short people out there: do not go up to a tall person and go, "Oh my God, how tall are you?" Trust me, we hear it all the time.
It's not funny.
No, it's not. Not at all.
Yeah, my friend Jay at work calls me a hobbit. But he's like almost as tall as he's a little bit taller than me, but he thinks it's hilarious. So, shout out to Jay. You're kind of a dickhead, but I love you.
Hey, don't make fun of hobbits, because you know what? They save the world.
Yes. We have the ring.
That's well, it's in the volcano now because of the hobbits. That's right. Don't make fun of hobbits. Anyway, we got about a little more than 20 minutes here, so I'm on a couple more songs here. This one, we talked about them earlier. Yes, they are coming up next Friday, and literally they are coming up. They are coming up from Taneytown, Maryland to be with us next Friday as we do our 3-hour show, which, by the way, 3 hours. We're starting at 6 o'clock next week. We'll go from 6 to 9 next Friday night for our 3-hour show. This one is off their EP Trial and Triumph. This is the song Criticized. This is an incredible song. It is actually one that a lot of times in the morning I sit at my desk and I'm like, I really am not feeling this right now. I will put this song on and it will get me going. So take a listen to this song right here. You're in Lurch's Lair. You're on New Rigel Radio.